Ever heard a miner's song in the Welsh mountains? Let's listen to Wales' vanishing voices on Tall Tales UK. A quick note, these tall tales are purely fictional fun, with a bit of British cheek. Let's start in Snowdonia, where the rugged peaks of Eryri have loomed over North Wales since time began, their slate-grey slopes whispering tales of ancient kings, dragon-filled caves, and the kind of wines that'll whip your hat clean off your head. Snowdonia's slate mines, like those in Blaenau Festiniog, were the beating heart of industry in the 1800s, when Welsh slate roofed the world, from the grand houses of London to the factories of New York, earning Blaenau the nickname, the town that roofed the world. Miners toiled in the caverns, their picks echoing through the mountains like a chorus of stone, while their families in the valleys below spun tales of the Tylwyth Teg, the fair folk who were said to dance in the quarries on moonlit nights, leaving footprints in the slate dust. But one miner's song still echoes through the quarries, a melody that's been heard from Llanberis to Butws Wycoed, where the rivers run as clear as crystal. Meet Di the miner, a ghostly chap who vanished in 1874 while working the Leckwed slate caverns, a labyrinth of tunnels carved deep into the mountain, where the air is damp and the walls glisten with moisture, even on the sunniest days. Di was a jolly sort, always singing Men of Harlech as he chipped away, his voice bouncing off the cavern walls like a choir of one, his baritone so rich it could make the slate itself hum along. He had a beard as black as coal, a laugh that echoed like a landslide, and a love for his mam's bara brith that he'd share with the other miners during their breaks, passing around slices wrapped in a cloth as they swapped stories of the day's haul. One day, Di went to deep, chasing a vein of slate that shimmered like starlight, a rare find that he swore would make the Queen herself want a roof, and he never came back, leaving his cap, a half-eaten bara brith, and a tin whistle on the cavern floor. His mates left to whisper, "He's gone to the Tylwyth Teg." They raised a dirham in his memory. Now, Di's ghost sings through the tunnels, his voice a haunting melody that drifts up on windy days, making the sheep on the slopes bleat in harmony as if they're part of his ghostly choir. Quarrymen say, if you leave a piece of bara brith at the cavern entrance, wrapped in a napkin with a little note saying "For Di, with love," he might sing you a verse, his notes as clear as a chapel bell, filling the air with a warmth that cuts through the mountain chill. But don't venture too far in, or you might join him in the dark, swinging a pickaxe for eternity in the Tylwyth Teg's underground court. On moonlit nights, his song mixes with the wind, a ghostly tune that sends shivers down the spine of every hiker trudging up Yerwide for Snowdon itself, their boots crunching on the shale as they pause to listen, half expecting to see Di's lantern flickering in the distance. Some claim Di once sang so loudly that a flock of ravens joined in, their calls echoing across the valley like a Welsh choir on a bender, a sound so wild it woke the villagers in Llanberis, who stumbled out in their nightcaps, thinking the mine had come alive. Others say Di's song once lured a lost lamb back to its flock, the little creature bleating along to Men of Harlech. It trotted down the mountain, a tale that's been told in the pubs of Bedglut ever since. So, if you're in Snowdonia and hear a miner's song, leave a crumb for Di, he's still singing, deep in the heart of the mountain, his voice a ghostly echo of Wales' industrial past that'll make you feel the weight of the slate in your bones. But Wales has more ghostly echoes. Let's head to Cardiff, where a bard's voice lingers in the bay. Cardiff, the bustling capital of Wales, has been a hub since the Romans built a fort on the River Taff in 75 AD. Their legionaries marching through the mud to keep the Silures at bay, but it boomed in the 19th century as a coal port, shipping black gold from the valleys to the world, its docks alive with the shouts of sailors and the creak of coal-laden ships. Today, it's all about the Senedd, where politicians debate in a glass palace, and rugby at the Principality Stadium, where the roar of the crowd can be heard from Penarth to Pontypridd, especially when the Six Nations is on and the streets are a sea of red jerseys. But in Cardiff Bay, where the water glints like polished slate and the air smells of salt and fish suppers, There's a tale of a bard who's long gone, his voice still lingering like a whisper on the breeze. Meet Iolo the Bard, a poetic soul who vanished in 1901 while reciting verses at the Coal Exchange, a grand hall where coal barons once struck deals over cigars and brandy, their laughter echoing off the marble floors. Iolo was a dreamer, his poems full of dragons, daffodils, and the kind of Welsh longing that could make a grown man weep into his pint, with a mop of curly hair and a velvet waistcoat that made him look like he'd stepped out of a medieval manuscript. He had a habit of nicking ale from the bar, which didn't sit well with the patrons, especially a gruff coal merchant named Mr. Jenkins, who once chased Iolo round the hall with a rolled-up ledger, shouting "Pay your tab, ye daft poet." One night, mid-verse about a dragon's fiery breath o'er the taff, Iolo vanished into thin air, leaving his quill, a half-drunk pint, and a crumpled poem on the table, the last line reading "And so I fade, a whisper in the wind." Now, Iolo's ghost recites poetry on Cardiff Bay's waterfront, his voice drifting over the waves like a Celtic breeze, especially near the Norwegian church where sailors once prayed for safe passage, their hymns mingling with the gulls' cries. If you leave a daffodil on the pier, its golden petals glowing in the dusk, Iolo might whisper a poem for you, his words as sweet as a Welsh cake, each line painting a picture of ancient Wales with its castles and misty hills. But don't interrupt him, or he'll vanish again with a huff, muttering no respect for art, these modern folk, in a voice that sounds like he's gargling gravel. On quiet evenings, his verses mix with the gulls' cries, a ghostly poetry reading that draws a crowd of curious crabs scuttling along the shore, their claws clicking as if applauding Iolo's latest ode. Some say Iolo once recited a poem so beautiful that a passing ship's captain dropped anchor, just to listen, missing his tide to Bristol, but declaring it worth every shilling. So, if you're in Cardiff and hear a bard's voice, leave a daffodil, Iolo, he's still dreaming in rhyme. His ghostly words a reminder of the city's knack for keeping its poetic past alive. From poetic ghosts to seaside songs, let's sail to Anglesey, where the waves hold a lover's lament. Anglesey, or Ynysmon, off Wales' north coast, has been a sacred isle since the Druids held sway in 60 AD, their oak groves a place of magic and mystery before the Romans cut them down, leaving behind tales of sacrifice and starlit rituals. Today, it's all about beaches, the Mincy Bridge with its elegant arches linking the island to the mainland, and the South Stack Lighthouse, where the cliffs drop sheer into the Irish Sea, a sight that'll make your knees wobble faster than a plate of laver bread. But the waves whisper of Selkie's seal folk who shed their skins to dance on land under the moon's silvery glow, their laughter mingling with the crash of the tide. Meet Catrin, a Selkie lass who lost her love, Rhys, in 1855 on Porthdaff Arch Beach, a sandy cove where the sea crashes with a roar that drowns out even the gulls, and the rocks are slick with seaweed that glints like emeralds in the sun. Rhys, a fisherman with eyes like the sea, and a smile that could charm a crab, stole Catrin's heart during a moonlit dance, his hands warm against her Selkie skin as they twirled to the rhythm of the waves. But when he vanished with her seal skin, hoping to keep her on land as his bride, Catrin fled to the waves in a panic, unable to bear the thought of losing her sea self, and Rhys disappeared into the night, never to return, perhaps swept away by a storm, or lured by the call of a distant horizon. Now, Catrin sings a mournful song from the surf, her voice a haunting melody that calls Rhys back, echoing over the cliffs where puffins nest and the wind howls like a banshee, her notes carrying the ache of a love lost to the sea. If you leave a pebble on the beach polished by the tide and gleaming like a pearl, Catrin might sing you a love song, her notes as soft as a summer tide wrapping around you like a warm shawl. Each lyric a memory of Rhys's laughter, but don't touch her new sealskin hidden in a cave near the Triada Bay, or you'll be swimming with the seals for a month. Your legs turn to fins by Selkie magic, a fate that befell a curious tourist in 1962 who spent a fortnight splashing about with a very confused pod. On stormy nights, her song grows louder, a call that sends shivers down the spine of every Anglesey sailor mending his nets, his hands pausing as he whispers a prayer for lost lovers. Some say Catherine once sang so beautifully that a pod of dolphins joined in, their clicks and whistles blending with her melody, a concert that drew every seal in Anglesey to the shore, their eyes shining with tears as they listened to her lament. So, if you're on Anglesey and hear a Selkie's song, leave a pebble for Catherine, she's still longing for Reese, her voice a ghostly echo of a love that's as deep as the Irish Sea. From seaside laments to mountain chatter, let's trek to the Brecon Beacons, where a sheep has a tale to bleat. The Brecon Beacons, a range of rolling hills in South Wales, have been a haven for shepherds since the Middle Ages, their slopes dotted with sheep, the occasional red kite soaring overhead, and ancient hill forts where Iron Age tribes once kept watch for invaders, their fires burning bright against the night sky. The Beacons are a place of beauty, where the rivers Usk and Wye carve through the valleys like silver threads, and the air smells of gorse and damp earth, but they've also seen their share of vanishings, especially on Pen y Fan, the highest peak at 2,907 feet, where the mist can roll in faster than you can say leek soup. In 1928, a shepherdess named Megan vanished on Pen y Fan while searching for a lost lamb, leaving her crook, a woolen shawl, and a half-eaten Welsh cake on the summit, her disappearance a mystery that's been whispered about in the villages of Talgarth and Crickhowell ever since. But her favourite sheep, Blodwen, started talking the next day, her bleats turning into a proper Welsh accent that could charm the wool off a ram. Blodwen, a fluffy ewe with a daffodil behind her ear and a twinkle in her eye, chats away to hikers, claiming Megan was whisked off by a mountain sprite who fancied her singing voice after hearing her lullaby to the flock, a tune so sweet it made the sprite weep into his beard of morse. Blodwen shares Megan's old lullabies, her voice a gentle ba that makes the heather sway, as if the mountain itself is humming along, but she's a bit of a gossip. She bleat about the time a ram got stuck in a bog, his woolly backside waving like a flag, or how a hiker left his sandwich on the trail, which she nicked with a cheeky finders keepers. But before trotting off to share it with a curious badger, if you leave her a daffodil, plucked fresh from the valley, Blodwen might sing for you, her notes as soft as a lamb's wool, each verse a memory of Megan's laughter. But don't mention Pen y Fan's summit, or she sob Megan, my Megan, and vanish into the mist, leaving you with nothing but a faint bow on the wind. On sunny days, her bleats echo through the beacons, drawing a crowd of curious rabbits who twitch their ears in applause, and some say she once sang so loudly that a red kite swooped down to listen, circling overhead as if enchanted by her tune. Hikers in the know leave Blodwen a daffodil wrapped in a bit of ribbon, hoping for a song that'll make the climb a little lighter, a woolly reminder of Wales' knack for keeping its vanished voices alive in the most unexpected places. So, if you're in the Beacons and hear a sheep's chatter, leave a daffodil for Blodwen, she's still waiting for Megan to come home, her bleats a ghostly echo of a shepherdess's love across the hills. Which Welsh voice is your fave? Comment below and subscribe to Tall Tales UK for more whimsical British stories. Cheerio.